AMD is cutting 4% of its workforce, and over 1,000 people are being laid off. Now, AMD is a massive semiconductor company, and I remember when AMD used to be like $2 a share. I mean, this company was super cheap back in like 2015 and 2016. I mean, you could buy one of these shares for like $2 to $3. And people were making mass amounts of money with the company. But of course, how come this year it's actually down 12%? It's actually one of the worst performing stocks out there. What's going on? Right now, AMD is facing enormous competition from a lot of their competitors like Nvidia and Broadcom. AMD is struggling as they're trying to push into the AI sector. They're doing a good job, don't get me wrong. I mean, overall, the share prices are incredibly high compared to 5 years ago. And they have a lot of big fans and big investors in the company. But when you lay off 4% of the workforce and when Nvidia is hiring more people, it doesn't exactly look so great. Over 1,000 people have lost their jobs at AMD, and the semiconductor layoffs are just starting. Wait till I tell you more news about what's going on in Korea. Now, so far, Wolfspeed is another massive semiconductor company, and they're laying off 20% of the workforce. 1 in 5 people literally just lost their jobs in this massive manufacturing plants. The struggling chip maker will be closing multiple facilities and reducing headcounts in an effort to save about $200 million. And the CEO announced that earnings and revenue are extremely bad. They want to save as much money as possible. And the decision is due to a slower growth of electric vehicle adoption and continued weakness in certain sectors like the energy sector, but mostly EVs. You clearly see that electric vehicles aren't as popular and hyped up compared to back in 2020 and 2021. Chinese EV companies are incredibly strong, and a lot of the German automakers simply can't compete against that. And not to mention, I think in North America especially, a lot of people are just simply kind of done with EVs. You know, EVs are cool, but are they really as reliable as gas guys? Not really. Now, if you look into some of the layoffs with Broadcom, another massive semiconductor company, you clearly see that during early 2024 of this year, a lot of people are laid off. Like literally every few hours, every few days, you got like hundreds of workers being laid off, more than 1,500 layoffs in several different states. Now, these layoffs in the semiconductor industry are only starting, especially as we go into 2025. Look at AMD. I mean, 4% of their entire workforce just got cut. And if you look at the more powerful semiconductor companies, they're not laying off anybody. They're actually hiring more people. In fact, artificial intelligence is on a massive hiring spree. But it just seems that AMD is struggling a lot. If you look into the semiconductor sales globally, it's declining. I mean, back in 2023, apparently sales declined 8.2%. Market rebounds a little bit, but not really by that much. And there's a lot of these big companies and small companies struggling in the sales area. And exports from Korea is actually falling 18% in November of this year, despite strong chip sales in specific sectors. And you also need to understand that the Chinese semiconductor industry is also doing pretty well. They're actually making like the lower tier and mid-tier chips in massive quantities, apparently. And don't underestimate a lot of the Chinese EVs and semiconductors. China EVs are dominating globally. And their semiconductor industry is catching up at speeds that we've never seen before. And this is going to take a massive chunk away from potentially AMD and a lot of their sales in Wolfspeed, for example. Let's see what happens next. I can tell you so far, competition is brewing, not just domestically, but also internationally. I'm super curious to see what's going to happen next for the chip company. Let's see what happens.